Hello and welcome to PPC Live, the podcast. I'm your host, Anu, the founder of PPC Live. And if you're used to hearing advice from PPC experts about how to ensure that we are keeping up with the ever-changing landscape, don't worry, you are still in the right place. Every week, I speak to a different PPC expert, not just about what's going right in their career. In fact, we don't even touch on that. We talk about their biggest F-up, but also how they've turned things around. So yeah, we never leave things on a defeated note. We share what has been disappointing, who has been supportive along the way, what were the biggest challenges, and what's the biggest learnings so that you don't make the same mistake again. Today, I have the absolute delight of speaking to Chloe Varnfield, who has been a great supporter of PPC Live since the beginning and comes all the way from outside of London, from all the way from the South to join, some of our events. And she shares even like 3 different stories, stories about settings going wrong that, Google kind of sneak by us, and also things we're doing with like tracking and conversion tracking and those kind of things going wrong, and sharing just like really great experiences with clients even when things were going wrong. So yeah, and there's always the important lesson that as you guys must know by now, that honesty is the best policy. Honesty is the best policy, and as long as you keep putting your best foot forward even after the mistake, you still end up having a great relationship with your client. So yeah, let's go speak to Chloe. Hello, Chloe. Welcome to PPC Live, the podcast.
Hi, Annie. Thanks for having me.
It is such my delight. I was like, I've not heard from Chloe in so long, and like to have a chat with her. And genuinely, this is this is my excuse for having a chat with Chloe, because, and one might go, Annie, but you're recording a podcast. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretending no one is listening to us right now. I'm just like, I want to catch up with my friend Chloe, who has been a great support of PPC Live in the past, and came to some of the events, even though you live outside of London. And I know more recently it would be hard for you to get into London, because is it okay that we share with the audience your lovely news that you're like about 36 weeks pregnant? Look at how glowing she is. For anybody watching on YouTube, and if you're not watching on YouTube, let me just tell you guys that she looks better than me, and I have no excuse. Hair done, makeup looking all on point. I love it. Absolutely love it. And yeah, I kind of was like, come on, Chloe, it will be such a fantastic power move to be like, I'm 36 weeks pregnant, I still did a podcast. So I'm so delighted to have you here, especially in Women History Month, and probably people listening to this might be even listening to it on International Women's Day, or maybe a few days after. Whichever way, this is our month for women doing amazing things. We both are. I'll go as far as saying. And yeah, so who's Chloe? Chloe Varnfield is a passionate digital marketing professional specializing in pay-per-click advertising and paid media across Google, Microsoft, Meta, LinkedIn, programmatic, and TikTok for small to medium-sized businesses and charities. She does that with Atelier Studios. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Atelier Studios. And yeah, she's been doing it for, quite a long while now. And how long have you been, even generally in the industry?
I have been working in PPC for nearly 8 years, but in digital marketing, probably about 60
Wow.
years,
Wow.
around that. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing. Long while.
Long time.
And now going to one of my favorite bits, I'm going to ask my guest to share. My lovely guest, Chloe, is just going to share her fun fact, which I'm just so jealous of this fun fact. I can't lie. But yeah, take it away, Chloe.
So I actually did arts and events management at uni. So I specialised in arts management. After I finished, one of my first projects was managing a local band who my husband played drums for. So yeah, I managed his band for a couple of years, which was great fun because music's a huge passion of mine. And yeah, I guess
That's amazing.
we fell in love, as cheesy as that sounds.
No, that is so rock and roll. Sorry, that is quite like a bit like, yeah, I'm going to do some music management. Yeah, I got my husband. Bye. Going to do some digital marketing now. That is so that is so cool. But yeah, love that. Love that you found love in music, and and that's a very fantastic, great memory for you. And you said he's the drummer, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
That is so cool. I feel like the drummers and the guitarists, they're my and no shade to like people on the piano and the other instrument, but the drummers and a guitarist, I think they're the sexiest. So guys, I'm single. Whoever is listening to this, if you're a drummer or a guitarist, yeah, DM me. Sorry, that was such a random tangent.
To hook you up with some people from Alan's like bands.
Look, I told Chloe I'm gonna come and visit her this summer because where do you live again?
I live in Dorset, so I live in Poole on the
Yeah.
south coast.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful down here. I'm
It's
20 minutes away from Lulworth Cove and Durdledore.
okay. Oh, wow. So, yeah, I need to visit Chloe this summer as well, because that would be so lovely. And who knows, maybe like, some musician guy across the coast will catch my eye. We will see. I'll let you guys know on that. Anyway, enough of my random ramblings. People are like, Anu, what are you on about? Well, what we're on about on this podcast is talking about mistakes, F-ups, and how we've turned them around. What I love that all my guests are very open to share is the fact that everyone makes mistakes, and it's not about the mistakes that define you. It's how you deal with them, how you turn them around. And, we've had loads of folks that have been like heads of department, founders, like established digital marketers like Chloe's been doing this for like, yeah, about over 10 years, 16 years, so that didn't deter her career in any way, like the rest of us, but she, like the rest, like the of the our guests that have shared their stories. So yeah, Chloe is now going to share her story about an F up that she made. So yeah, please take it away. What's the F up you'd like to share with us, Chloe?
We've got lots of little ones. So I would like to start with longer headlines.
Okay.
So, that really annoying account level automated assets setting that's
Yes.
really hidden?
Yes.
So when that was first launched, or it wasn't aware that that existed there.
Wow.
So one of my clients contacted me saying, "Why does our headline look like this?"
Mm,
With a screenshot. So I could see that that wasn't the headline that we had inputted into Google Ads. So then there was the whole like panic, troubleshoot, why is this happening? Searching on Google, and then I found this setting. And I just could not get over how sneaky
yeah.
Google were in hiding it away.
Right.
Like it's the three dots where you have to click more, where
Yeah.
you kind of get to that page, and then they're all switched on if
Oh
you haven't
God.
switched them off. So this was obviously quite a few years ago. But yeah, that massively tripped me up. Because I didn't know it was there.
Yeah. Yeah. So a mistake that I wouldn't even count necessarily as a mistake is one of those things that is just a warning that the updates that sometimes Google come out with, it can be very hidden, can be so it can the default setting is something that has always been, as long as I've been working in paid search again as well for like about 16, 17 years now. It's always been like those default settings are the things that can trip us up the most. And that was always like parts of, you'll get those kind of like, SOPs or like just the tasks that you need to make sure you do when you're setting a new campaign live. And every like publications and that kind of thing, they'd always be like, check your default settings. Check those
Yeah.
default settings that Google does. Especially, I think one of my favorite ones was like, check your, like, because a default setting that Google used to put that we'd always advise turn that off was, have your campaign be on both the search network and the display network, when no, literally like the same kind of keywords, and you never want the same strategy for display and search. So that was like an awful setting. So yeah, checking those settings, very important. But yeah, please go on, Chloe. You have another one.
There's so many settings to check, isn't there? Like, those are just ever evolving documents of checklists of switch this off, switch this off, switch this off. Another one was I had a campaign and a client say to me, we actually now don't want to target the whole of the UK. We would just like to target these locations.
Mm.
So I did it quickly while I was on a call with them, and I think it was like a Friday. So I hadn't like done my usual tracks, and switching a location is fairly straightforward.
Usually.
What I'd done is I think I'd like left the UK there. Or I don't know how I'd done this, but I'd accidentally excluded the UK, but targeted the locations that I needed to target. So, like, the campaign stopped delivering.
Okay, so what was supposed to be the target location? The UK or
The target location was supposed to be, I think it was like certain regions in the south, maybe.
Okay.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, what I did is I just basically excluded all of the locations that I could have. So the campaign stopped
Okay.
delivering, and
Gosh.
making changes on a Friday is such a big no.
Yes.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's something that has been brought up before by other speakers. They've gone, yeah, don't. And even if your client is like, this is an emergency, say that, look, it can be an emergency for Monday. It should not. Don't start making changes on a Friday. So what happened with that one? Who kind of picked up on the fact that you'd done the exclusion wrong?
I picked up on the fact that I'd done the exclusion because the campaign just wasn't delivering.
Yeah.
But I couldn't work out what I'd done because I'd obviously trusted that I'd done the location right. So it was one of the last places I looked, but it was one of those where I was scratching my head about this one for a couple of
Yeah.
days. And
Yeah.
my last resort was, we need to audit the whole
Yeah.
of this campaign to get to
Yeah.
the bottom of it immediately. And then I found it straight away. And when you just kick yourself, you're just like, you silly person, why have you done
Yeah.
that?
And how many days did you give it till? Because we're experiencing this. A campaign's volume doesn't kick off straight away. So maybe sometimes you're like, you'll give it a couple of days before you're like, okay, it should have gotten volume. So like, how many days did you leave it to before alarm bell started going off? Really?
Probably like 3, because
Okay.
sometimes when like the algorithm just does something funny, or a campaign just randomly stops delivering and then it starts delivering again, I was just kind of waiting for it to fix itself,
Yeah.
and it never happened.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Genuinely, I do think that is quite diligent because I might leave it a week. I'm the kind of marketer, and guys, this is why I report on the news and I don't manage accounts anymore. If I had a client right now, they'd be like, "What? I knew you wait for our campaign to not run for a week before checking." That is such a diligent thing for you to do. I think 3 days for sure, yeah, is enough for you to go, no, let's audit something. This is not just the algorithm that has messed up. Yeah, no, I think that's really good.
Cute. I have also left things for a week because I've been confident that it's not my mistake and it must be Google.
Right?
And then you find out it is actually
Was
your
you?
mistake.
Me kind of doing the whole Google probably messed up. I think it's fair play a lot of the times and all the 1,000,001 updates they come out with every month, because it's like things just, yeah, Google do kind of sneak things past us a lot of the time. So yeah.
Yeah,
Do you have another story to?
I do. Sometimes I will have a call with a Google rep, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'll listen to them. And most of the time I don't, because they're not really giving valuable
Yes.
advice.
Yes.
But on this particular day,
Mm.
I was getting greedy because my campaign was doing very well, and
Nice.
it was doing the best that it's done in a long time. And when that happens, you obviously want to kind of keep pushing
Mm.
and get even more revenue for your client.
Absolutely.
So one of the reps recommended that I switch bid strategy
Okay.
from maximize conversions to maximize conversion value.
Okay.
And I did, and it tanked performance completely. And I think that the reason for that is because even though it was doing really well, because I work for a lot of small to medium sized businesses,
Mm.
getting a campaign and an account to kind of get that optimal amount of conversions in
Yeah.
30 days can
Yeah.
sometimes be a challenge.
Yes.
Obviously, we use macro and micro conversions where possible to kind of try and meet that. But I
Yeah.
think in this particular scenario,
Mm.
it just completely tanked performance. And it took me a couple of months to kind of
Yeah.
get the performance back.
Yeah.
And I think again that was in relation to the level of conversions.
Yeah.
And when you're kind of coming up to when you're talking about a couple of months, um I was like, when that couple of months was done, I was 2 months away from the busy
Yeah.
period for that
Oh,
client.
okay.
So they were starting to worry, I was starting to worry. So it was just like, right, this is what we're gonna do.
Mm.
So I think that there were like multiple things that kind of exacerbated that
Sure.
problem.
Yeah.
So I had to backtrack and switch to some different conversion tracking. There was this weird bug at the time, and Maddie Lightning had posted about it.
Yeah.
And it was a bug where, in your settings, you have account specific and campaign specific goals.
Yeah.
There was this weird bug where it stopped listening, Google stopped listening to the account specific.
Yeah.
And she was advised by Google Rep to switch it to campaign specific.
Yeah.
So she was thinking that's not going to work, and it did.
Mm.
So I've had that come up a couple of times since, had to implement that on some of my accounts, which has fixed it. So
Yeah.
I don't know if it's an ongoing bug. Like I don't quite understand, but that was like another thing that I had to do to fix it. And luckily, we got the account back to where it needed to be for this client's big Christmas New Year sale.
Wow.
But it was it was a little stressful, that one.
Of course, of course. You know what? Yeah, thanks for our third story being like, but that sounds like very, very significant. Like, how was the client with you? Because that even just sounds like a client that would be pissed off and just be like, what's going on for 2 months? Yeah. What happened?
She was really great about it, actually. So she's a marketer herself.
Fantastic.
And I think transparency is always key, isn't it? When you're
Yes.
speaking to clients, like, this is what's happened, this is what we're doing to fix it. If this doesn't work, then we'll do this or this.
Yes.
And, always having a plan B and a next step is great. But she understood from
Mm.
being a marketer that these things happen. And she also was like, your job is so stressful. Those changes have created this problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you do it. But
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but in the moment when you're kind of panicking and you're troubleshooting and you're like, oh God, I don't know what to do. And then you find it and then you fix it. And then you gradually see things kind of like go back to where you need them to be. That is so rewarding.
It
Like,
really
I
is.
love that part of my job so much.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's even another bit that, I feel like we sometimes I think to myself, are we going to share anything new? Because, a lot of the podcasters, a lot of my guests will come and be like, yeah, be honest, be transparent. And those are important messages. But you've mentioned something there that no one really else has mentioned about actually, as much as it can be stressful, you've found a mistake, you've tagged a client's performance. The journey back, you've figuring out what went wrong. it's just so like it becomes like your proudest moments. Those are actually the kind of things, right? We never actually think that actually some of our proudest moments could be off the back of, a big mistake that we made, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So maybe it's actually worth, to the listeners, listening to this, to actually keep that in mind of like a mistake might happen, but think of the fact that that you actually then fixing that error could then be a big moment for you, with you, your client, your manager, and you fix the problem. So don't always wallow in the whole I've made a mistake. Try to turn it around, and that could actually make, become your proudest moment. Because yeah, proud moments don't come from really I've done everything well and everything's always well. That's more like, oh, BAU. That's, it just becomes every day. It's when something goes wrong and you fix it, you become the hero, you know? And that's
Absolutely.
okay.
And you're building a toolkit of things that you will use again to
Yes.
troubleshoot accounts. And I
Yeah.
think that that's like the massive part of doing this job, is the
Yeah.
more and more experience you get, the more and more mistakes that you make,
Yeah.
the more and more well informed you are
Yes.
about these issues. And it's so nice, well, it's not nice when the account's not going great, but when you have a colleague come to you and say, I have no idea what to do with this, like this is the problem, and you think, oh, I've seen this before, let's have a little look,
Yes.
and you can fix things quicker.
Yes, absolutely. And this is well also mentioned that having a team or a community, I mean, shameless plug. This is what PPC Live, WhatsApp and Slack is all about. Don't sit in your corner. I've made a mistake. Now I'm just going to sit down for 6 hours to 10 hours just trying to figure it out on my own. Message your community, message a team member, tell someone, be like, hey, this just happened. Could you just, have another eyes, be the second pair of eyes on this thing that I've done, and maybe pick up on something that I have not picked up. And all of a sudden your research period of what's going on cuts it down from 6 hours to maybe a few hours, or maybe a few minutes, or like 20 minutes, because someone else looked at it for you. Because that's the thing, when a mistake happens, or don't make it about the mistake, make it about how quickly you can
Yeah.
turn it around. That time period of quickly turning around is very important.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a lot earlier in my career, and what I kind of see with colleagues that are kind of at that point as well, is when things like this happen,
Yeah.
they worry that it's going to make them look incompetent.
Mm,
And like, I just disagree, because we're
yeah.
all human beings,
Yeah.
and we're working with systems that are not foolproof,
Yeah.
and these things happen,
Yeah.
especially in marketing. What I always say to you know like my colleagues is, marketing, you're testing a theory,
Yeah.
you're testing an idea, you're testing a concept, and it might not work. As long as you can see that it's not worked, and then you pivot and you do something else, that's the thing that makes you a good marketer. Not coming up with the best idea ever straight away and everything just works seamlessly, because that's just, rare.
Yeah.
It's not real
Absolutely.
life.
Absolutely rare. You know what? I feel like I want to do something that I don't usually do, but I'm like, it's Women History Month. For you might be listening to this at any other time of the year, but we're recording this in March, and I know I picked up on the fact that your manager, that I mean, the client was a woman that was very understanding of you and was like, oh my God, it must be really hard for you. Do you get that kind of compassion and understanding from both genders, or have you found yourself, getting more understanding from women? I mean, when I'm not fishing for a particular answer here, I really just want to know your experience.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I think it's all about that client relationship and that rapport.
Fair
And I
enough.
think I think that I really pride myself on like having those really great client relationships by just having really authentic communication, having a bit of a laugh, keeping things kind of like nice and friendly and jokey.
Yeah.
And then when you need to have those real conversations and those difficult conversations, it just makes things a bit easier.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, like, this is work for mostly, this is work for like both people.
Yes.
Obviously, with some of the companies I work for, they're small family businesses and this is their livelihood.
Yeah.
And that's like sometimes really, really difficult when, you know, you're dealing with an issue on an account and it's losing the money and you feel
Yeah.
responsible for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I feel like client relationships need to be nurtured.
Yes.
And as long as you're just updating them regularly, and
Yeah.
if there is an issue, you're telling them what you're doing, even if you
Mm.
haven't fixed it yet, then, you know, it's gonna be easier.
Absolutely. Also, I'd like to ask, like, looking back to especially that third, because I feel like that third one is like was the biggest one we could have done. Because we spent an hour just talking about that one story, but I'm really grateful that you came with three with me. I asked Chloe, like when I was asking her, I was like, "Oh, do you have like a story to tell?" She's like, "I have several." I was like, "Okay, I'll take as many as you want to give me." So really grateful for all of that. But that third one really, really like stuck out to me. Uh, what would you have done differently? Kind of thing. Was it a case of you shouldn't have listened to Google, or there's more to it?
I would have just like sat on it for a bit longer.
Sure.
Changing a bid strategy is a really large change to
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
and will have a big impact, um, whether it's positive or negative.
Mm.
And those should not be snap decisions.
No.
And it's so difficult when speaking to Google reps because obviously, you know, some of them can be quite insistent that it's a very good idea. And, you know, it sometimes you kind of get in your own head like what are they seeing that I'm not seeing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously I want this campaign to do even better than it is.
Yes.
Yeah, don't make snap decisions and
Mm.
listen to your gut.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't make snap decisions. Like, yeah, sit on the advice. Sit on advice for a while. So let's say someone is going through this. They have made that bid strategy, and it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks in, and they realize that the performance has tanked. What's your advice to them before they even whilst they're sitting there, like maybe they're sat in the toilet right now and just like hands in their head. You know how you have those moments you're like, let me just get away from my desk and have a moment in the bathroom. What's your advice to them?
Breathe, be kind
Yeah.
to yourself because you're not a bad person,
Yeah.
and you will fix this. We don't know how long it's going to take, but you will eventually fix it. Um and I think you've just got to stay calm, haven't you? Because
Yeah.
if you panic, then you're not going to be in the right headspace to fix
Yeah.
this properly or communicate to your client in a calm and confident way where they're going to
Yeah.
feel reassured that you've got this.
Yeah.
So stay calm. And one thing that one of my colleagues has said to me over the years when I've had a big panic when something's gone wrong is no one's died. No one has died. And it's so true, isn't it?
Yes.
Because no matter how big it feels to you in that moment, it really isn't big.
No, no one's died. We're not doing brain surgery here. We're not doing, heart transplant here. We're literally just, well, not just, because I think, some of these businesses are very, worthwhile businesses that are doing well. But most of the time, yeah, we're just making more money for rich people. So don't necessarily, I mean, obviously you're taking care of someone else's budget. They've entrusted you with something. So, take responsibility of that. But yeah, don't go into a shame spiral because you made a mistake. Just get back on that horse and get back into fixing mode, because that's the best way that you can be useful. Chloe, that's been a fantastic story. But like, yeah, let's move on to talking about something else, and even like shifting the spotlight to some maybe errors that you've seen your company, because it's an agency you work for, so you'll
Yeah.
get new clients coming in, new accounts coming in. What are some of the big mistakes that you see that Linda, have been made on an account that come in that make you go, oh, really? Yeah, that really stun you still, like, and that things that you feel that shouldn't be happening still in 2026.
This segment needs to be so long. So I'll summarize into my like top three.
Good.
Firstly would be conversion tracking.
Yeah.
When you start auditing an account and none of the, or like maybe one of the Google hosted conversion actions is working and nothing else is, they've still got universal analytics conversion actions in there. And it's just, oh dear,
Yeah. Yeah.
this looks a bit of a pickle.
Yeah.
So that would be my first one. Then the next one would just be using broad match for brand
Mm,
campaigns.
okay. Don't do it. That's your advice. Yeah.
It's how I do things. I know people do things differently, and I suppose it depends on your budget and,
Yeah.
you know, your brand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think what I've seen quite a lot is also just kind of other campaigns using broad match. So you're showing for brand key terms like across all of your campaigns.
Yeah.
So you just have no idea what keywords are working for you,
Mm,
and like it's not like it might look on the surface that your campaigns are converting really well, but actually you're just converting on your brand.
yeah.
That is
Yeah.
that's one of my niggles. And accounts that have no negative keywords, just like
Mm,
0,
mm,
or they're like just not even applied in lists. That makes me feel really
yeah.
sad.
Yeah. Yeah. And is that do I mean, has there been any account that you've seen that was gone, well, I understand. Legit, every account that's been running for a while should for sure have negatives.
Yeah, I feel that every account that's been running for, yeah. I think as well, it's really difficult, isn't it? Because when you kind of inherit an account where it's been kind of like managed by like an in-house marketing team and they've done their best, but they don't really know what they're doing,
Mm,
then, in that scenario, you're really glad that you can help them along the way and make this
yes.
better. But when it's come from another agency
Mm.
or a freelancer, you're just like, really?
You should know better. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, that makes sense. So yeah, so our three are no negatives, broad match, especially on brand. And sorry, what was the first one?
Just like poor conversion tracking, like
Conversion tracking, broad match, negatives. Those are very, and genuinely, those three things are things that will definitely, it's not even just about a structure thing. Those aren't small things. Those are actually big things that will affect revenue. So yeah, guys,
yeah.
definitely look out for those things. Also, our world of the AI revolution that is coming, whether it's here, whether we like it or not. Any kind of like any like particular like, errors that people fall into about, AI that you're like, yeah, people have got that wrong.
People using AI to kind of, I don't know, do ad copy or do a task or do a proposal, but not checking it. So
Yeah.
like, and not editing it. So it looks really obvious that all of it's come from AI.
Yeah.
That's just really lazy. And
Yeah.
that's not how we should be using AI.
No, no. Yeah, you look at it and edit it. It should always be like clear that you reviewed the work and change some bits in, because yeah, I'm of the notion that it's use it. It's a great tool for us to make us faster, but it should make your brain faster. It should not replace your brain
Yeah.
kind of thing. So Yeah, that's my view. Chloe, this has been absolutely fantastic. You've given us so many things to think about. 3 great stories about mistakes we should, look out for there, and how you learned from it. The great relationship you had, the great working relationship you had with the client. Three F-ups that you've seen other agency make that people should be absolutely wary of. And yeah, our AI world. And yeah, that's all, great knowledge for us to take away, and make us better marketers in this industry. But yeah, before we leave you, yeah, my our last fun non-PPC question at all. If your PPC career were a movie, what would the title be?
Highly optimized.
Highly optimized. I love it. Do you have a reasoning? What's the reasoning behind highly optimized?
Do when all of your campaigns are just looking really clean and highly optimized, and you just feel really smug with yourself? That's the reason.
I love it. I feel like you have a lot of smug moments of like, yeah, I did that good. I look at my campaign looking well. I'm sure you do. It's just
think
fantastic.
I think I like celebrate myself more
It's,
now I'm later on in my career, rather than beat myself up for all of these little mistakes.
yeah.
You've got to celebrate yourself and your successes.
You know what? I didn't even ask. I was like, we're at the end of it, and you sneak in one last great piece of advice in there. Even like that's amazing. Honestly, everyone listening, no matter how early you are in your career, we will beat ourselves up. It's what human beings do. Our brains honestly work against us, and that way it's kind of sometimes. But celebrate yourselves. Remember to celebrate yourself as well. And yeah, me too. It's a very much like later in my life, in my career thing, like even with friends, I'll be like, yeah, let's do something for our birthday, even if so it's a spa. It doesn't have to be like, because everybody thinks, oh, it's birthday party. I don't want a birthday party. But celebrate yourself somehow. Do something you're actually really gonna enjoy, because yeah, celebrating yourself is always worth it. Always worth it, in my opinion. So Chloe, where can we find you to share your of things that you share, and the great journey and the great work you're doing at Italia Studios?
I'm on LinkedIn, so that would be the best channel to keep an eye on me.
Sure.
I like to uh, support other people's posts and comment, but I'm a bit quiet, and I'm obviously going to be a little quiet while I'm on maternity leave.
Of
But
course.
one of my goals is to get more confident sharing on LinkedIn for sure.
We are absolutely looking forward to that. I'm so looking forward to that. And I'll also shamelessly say that, Chloe is part of our fantastic Slack group. And she will be happy to answer questions that you've got on there as well, because that's what, as we said
Absolutely.
earlier on, like, don't go through these mistakes on your own. Don't spend a lot of time beating yourself up. Ask for help. Ask for someone to give you a second pair of eyes, so that you can get to that journey of problem solution quickly, and pat yourself on the back and cheer yourself on. But yeah, so on that note, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today, Chloe. It's
you.
been so great chatting and catching up. And yeah, speak to you soon. Thank you so much, Chloe, for sharing that very honest and transparent experience with your client, and those 3 different great examples as to how things can go wrong, and it can just be something that you just naturally just honestly miss, and might not even be your fault. And but also things that, oh, you should have looked out for. And yeah, and sometimes you need to check that account out just after 3 days. That is a key, I'd say, characteristic of someone who is trying to work hard for their client, so that you're the one that finds that mistake. As long as you're the one that finds that mistake, that always puts you on a good footing with your client. So yeah, for all the information, for the full transcript, not just the show notes, yeah, please go to podcast.ppc.live for all the details of that fantastic episode. So yeah, PPC Live events updates are always a favorite part for me. Tickets are live. They're on sale. Early bird sale is going to end on March the 22nd. So literally in a couple of weeks. So go to ppc.live. We've got Jack Wilmore from We Discover. We've got Amina Demiri from Vixen Digital, who are based in Brighton. And it's so glad to have some amazing like heads of digital, senior digital marketers who are doing great work to share their their experience with us. I know we announced that Kirk Williams was going to be joining us, but unfortunately he's had to drop out due to family issues, which is very understandable. Family comes first. So yeah, look out for another update as to who our third speaker is going to be. I'm looking at someone from Microsoft, like some of a fantastic leader from Microsoft. So yeah, cross all your fingers and toes for me for that, guys. Yeah, we're going to be reaching out to them. Well, I've already reached out to them, so hopefully it's a positive response. I see why not. PPC Live is a fantastic event with our fantastic audience. They'll be stupid to say no. And so yeah, let's hope they see things that way as well. Before I leave you, I'm also delighted that I am taking on coaching clients. And so, yeah, if you just have difficulty with confidence and just trying to ask for what you feel that you deserve and trying to figure out, what the right timings for having some of these difficult conversations, yeah, reach out to me. Go to themarketinganu.com for that, and you'll get to a page which is like the one-to-one coaching part of the site that will allow you to book a free 15-minute discovery call with me. The ongoing payment would be £500 a month, but for that you get four hourly calls, so weekly calls for 4 weeks in that month. So yeah, in total, I feel like ideally, how like therapy can just take a while. You need to give it some time. I think these kind of discussions are the same. So I recommend a minimum 3 month period that we start off with. And that on £500 a month, so that comes to 1,500 for the whole period. So yeah, but free conversation to start off with to figure out exactly what it is that you need. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the show, and I look forward to bringing more PPC F-ups and triumphs next week. Thank you. Bye.